Deban.
Are you proud of who you are?
I'm like so proud of who I am, and I'm proud of all of you for who you are. It is Pride Month.
It is?
And that's not just for gay people, that's for everyone.
I suspect that next year, wiwibloggs will have a float at major Pride festivals. Honestly, we've got to, because we're so proud of who we are as people, who you are, and this year in particular, we were celebrating diversity from January till now.
Let's just quote Armenia 2015, don't deny, honey. Yes, they're preaching in the caucuses. In any case, with this occasion of LGBTQ Pride Month, why don't we talk about 5 of our favorite LGBTQ moments? Are you ready?
Let's do this!
Now, we said 5 of, because there are, of course, many, many moments. We're not ranking these, we're just naming 5 important moments.
What's really interesting, William, is that we truly agreed. The 5 that you thought were the 5 that I thought of.
Which is crazy. And I actually wrote a story about this. It's on Billboard magazine, billboard.com. You can click on it. You can read more about the 5 moments that we've chosen.
What an excellent read.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I love web stories. Web stories are quite fun to read. Right. In any case, the top moment, or one of the top moments, has to be Dana International.
Oh!
1998, Israel.
Viva Maria, viva Victoria, Aphrodita. Viva la diva, viva Victoria, Cleopatra.
I'm glad you said the year. I thought you were going to go into Ding Dong.
Oh no, listen. Yes, her first appearance, all of us youngish people have watched this, we've seen the TV, but there's a huge backstory. She wins the right to sing for Israel. She's chosen because she has had 3 successful albums at this point. Conservative Orthodox members of the Jewish community, many rabbis, many politicians, said, we cannot send her, she is an abomination.
We don't endorse her.
Because she's transgender, male to female. Born Yaron, became Sharon, known to us as Dana International.
And she is from the Jewish nation, honey!
Yes, she's a child of Israel. This was the first year countries that were introducing the televote. European gays said, look, we're going to show some strength. We are going to vote up a storm. No one knew if they would or if it would make a difference. But guess what?
She won.
She won. And what did she sing about? Tell us.
Oh, she sang about diva. I mean, that couldn't be more of a self-affirmation of what she was about.
A woman.
A woman. She didn't go Devo, she did Diva. And she won the entire contest. Not only did she win, she charted in all the countries in Europe, cooking up a storm in the charts, and became one of Israel's most successful acts.
And she sang about powerful women of the past. Aphrodite, Cleopatra.
Dana International.
Yes, honey. And I've just got to read you. I love this quote. After she won, she said, I want to send my critics a message of forgiveness and say to them, try to accept me and the kind of life I lead. I am what I am. And this does not mean I don't believe in God. And I am part of the Jewish nation.
She sure is.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom, shalom, amen, shalom.
Toda you slay. We go to 2007. This singer did not come out publicly as a lesbian until 2013, but 6 years before, we were reading between the lines. It is Marija Serifovic.
Molitva became one of the anthems of LGBT movement. It was sung in Serbian, it wasn't even in English, but there was so much strength and power, and LGBT power, she was riding on.
She was bending gender, playing on stereotypes, wearing an undone tuxedo. Yes, this is a symbol of masculinity. I'm gonna loosen it up and do it my way. Short hair, surrounded by
5 female backing vocalists.
Who were deliberately hyper-feminized.
Holding hands.
And yet they were also wearing men's clothing. It's a very complicated imagery and symbolism.
Very Victor Victoria.
Yes. The lyrics. By the way, they were caressing her throughout the performance. She said, falling in love frightens me. Days are like wounds, countless and hard to get through. honestly,
Poetry.
troubled romance of forbidden love, amor prohibido, woman on woman, not accepted everywhere. But look, my favorite headline, Germaine Greer, the noted feminist, you know exactly what English, very outspoken. She wrote in The Guardian a few days later, or maybe the next day, Gypsy lesbian wins Eurovision. She called a spade a spade. People know that Marija Serifovic, I think her mother is, or grandmother is, I think it's her mother, one of the most famous interpreters of traditional Roman music.
Yeah.
And she clearly was a lesbian, even if she didn't come out till later.
By that point, she was going out with Slavko Kalesic. I mean...
Yeah, you figured that one out. I can't write that story, even if you give me your body. But look, the point is, many people could read between the lines. They identified with this. They pushed it through. Until this year, that was the last song sung entirely in a foreign language to win Eurovision.
Yes.
Showing the power she had to convey all sorts of ideas.
And showing the power of the LGBT vote.
In another language. We move on to 2013. You mentioned Ding Dong earlier, but this is a different Ding Dong. Who is it?
It's Conchita Wurst.
No! Finland!
Oh, marry me. Okay, so, of course, sorry. Krista Siegfrids.
Ding dong, marry me, I'll be
your queen bee, I love you endlessly. I do it for you, and for you, and for you. Yeah, I do it for you. Marry me, baby.
Now look, this song came out at a time when gay marriage was not legal in Finland.
And who knew? She brought that to the foreground.
She brought it to the foreground deliberately. She wanted to make a statement, and she told me in the interview for Billboard, she said, I did not care if people didn't like it. I wanted to send this message.
And you know what? She's a smart girl with a heart. You know, Krista, it is so important to bring a message like that, especially when you're not even LGBT.
Oh yeah, you need straight allies.
You need straight allies.
You need to get somewhere. Interestingly, 6 years before this, Tattoo, the faux lesbian
from Russia, yes!
They wanted to stage a same-sex lesbian kiss, but the EBU was like, no, you better not, don't do it. Fast forward 6 years, Krista Siegfrids does it. And what's interesting to me about this, Deban, is if you read the lyrics to the song, there's no gender. Throughout the entire song, she doesn't say he or she. She doesn't say groom or fiancé. So you don't know if she's talking about a man or a woman until the final moment of the song when one of her backing vocalists kisses her.
Absolutely. Skipping dinner to get thinner is something that both men and women identify with.
I haven't eaten in days.
You're married. But I love the fact that, as well, that in the music video it's clearly heterosexual. On stage at Eurovision it's homosexual, meaning that the message of matrimony and love actually should and must apply to both gender.
Yeah.
It's very clever what Krista Siegfried's done. And she paid the price because, of course, I'm sure she suffered with votes.
Yeah.
Or losing votes.
The fact is, some people are ignorant, and some people won't vote for it because of that. And also, we should point out that at the time, Turkey pulled the broadcast of Eurovision that year. They said it was because of low ratings. However, LGBT activists in Turkey pointed out, actually, the Eurovision ratings are quite high in Turkey. This is some homophobic BS going on. China, which broadcast the show on delay several months later, cut out her performance, the kiss part. They showed everything up to the kiss, and they bleeped it out.
But didn't other people threaten as well?
There were lots of threats. It's all hard to confirm. We just know that she took a risk, and now, guess what? Gay marriage is legal in Finland, honey!
Yes!
Krista Siegfrids played a part. People supported this. People in Finland love Eurovision. That was bold of her. Well
and you know what?
done.
Beyond, even kind of moving this into a wider debate, why shouldn't marriage be legal regardless of gender? It's just so crazy.
I can already read the bitter comments from a whole lot of conservative people. But it's okay. You know what? Some people are behind the times. It's fine. We move on to the next year, to 2014. You're gonna know what this is.
Baby, I need a sausage.
Conchita Wurst, yeah!
Retribution, you were won. Once I'm transformed, once I'm reborn, you know I will
Conchita Wurst, when she was selected to represent Austria, people went bananas in both a good way and a bad way. In Austria, people joked this is the worst decision ever. Protests were circulated in Belarus and Russia, asking the governments to pull her, or rather pull the contest, because she was turning it into, quote, a hotbed of sodomy. All of this just because Tom Neuwirth,
yeah,
a gay man, was dressed as a woman. He's not transgender. He made this very clear to me at Eurovision in concert.
Many journalists ask me if I feel the same like Dana International and that we are both transgender person, and we are not. You know, she is a transgender person, and this is such a huge decision, and it's just incredible what you have to go through. Becoming a woman, but me as a drag artist, you know, this is fun, and this is just dressing up and painting and everything.
I am not transgender. Their struggles are much more difficult than mine. I am a drag queen. But people couldn't make the difference.
Call him a novelty act. The fact remains that he had a message with him. You know what really annoys me?
Tell me.
That hate can actually find voice in the majority.
Yes.
So, you know, ORF, Conchita Wurst had participated in the pre-selection for Eurovision, I think, at least once, one other time.
Yeah,
and
that's
it kind of
what I am.
And that's what I always be. I don't want to be
sorry.
silent. This is my destiny. Didn't go through. Instead, track shitters with Walking Me to Popo. Anyway, matter of taste,
Yeah,
whatever
they
you
didn't
say.
make the final.
ORF had to internally select her, and good job they did. And guess what? Gave Austria its second victory. Now, that wouldn't have happened if...
Yeah. And also, we need to give this a broader political context. The performance at Eurovision came after the introduction of the draconian anti-LGBT laws in Russia, which gave this extra push. During Russia's performance that year, people unfurled gay pride flags. That was a against Putin, and also a for Conchita, who represented so much diversity, inclusion. You know, she's not
tolerance, honey.
For LGBT, even though she wasn't transgender, people read it as, you know what I'm saying? People read it as such, which was a good thing. Now, some people within the LGBT community said, oh my God, you're turning the rest of us into a freak show? Get over it. She didn't turn you into a freak show, because now when people see Conchita Wurst, they don't even bat an eyelid. It's like, you get over it.
It almost looks normal to be a woman and have a beard. Actually,
so
you know, it doesn't even strike me as an odd look.
Exactly.
It never did. But, yeah.
Exactly, and that's her whole point. What's the German phrase? That's a sausage to me, I don't care. And that's what she's playing off of here.
But you know, William, it was a massive risk because there was no guarantee. Austria traditionally does bad at Eurovision.
Yes.
And then to come with that sort of gimmick, there were no guarantees. And with really big countries kind of threatening to pull out.
Yeah.
I mean, what did those politicians in Belarus and Russia and, you know, like openly saying we want to pull out of Eurovision?
And you know what? This was the year when Aram MP3 made some controversial comments.
Oh!
Transphobic comments about people in a park. We don't need to go into all that, but what I will say, she called him out. She said in an interview to us on wiwibloggs, I need to have a chat with him.
But about the homophobic things, he said, this is exactly the reason why I'm doing what I do. You know? He said some very awful things, and I really have to talk to him about that, because, as I said, this is the reason why I'm doing this. I want to show the world that if you want to be a bearded lady, you're allowed to do it without being discriminated.
You know, she was not playing. She became not just someone preaching tolerance, someone living tolerance, calling people out for, you know, homophobic, bigoted things. And it's fantastic.
And rightfully so.
She believes what she says. Call it a gimmick, call it what you will. She believes it. So to me, that's not a gimmick. And you know what? Other people have had gimmicks. Track shitters. Those naked women on the poles. And it was vulgar. That was a hot fanny mess. All right.
It was vulgar.
It was vulgar, but Conchita,
you know, yeah. And God bless Conchita. I don't know how much longer she'll live for, because there are talks she's going to kill.
She actually told wiwibloggs in an interview at the London Eurovision party those aren't true. Not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. All right, we move on to a fifth one. Now look, we said 5 of our favorites. These are not the 5 most important things. And these are also just 5 issues related to LGBT. This is an interesting one to me. And I was struggling what to put for the 5th one when I was writing the story. But
Are we moving to Zagreb for this, for inspiration?
We're moving to Zagreb. It's Jacques Houdek. Deban, do you want to share the backstory?
Well, there have been some... He was voted the homophobe of the year by a major Croatian broadsheet.
Let me just break it down. Apparently, he told Tena magazine in 2005 that gay men and lesbians, quote, cannot be equal with other citizens because it means a return to Sodom and Gomorrah. So he was constantly called a homophobe, blah, 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 anti-gay, and people were quite upset when he was internally selected this year to sing at Eurovision. So people were like, oh, wiwibloggs, how can you be nice to this person? I judge people by how they treat me. He was always lovely, lovely, lovely to us. Very kind.
Beyond lovely.
So, either he didn't say that, either he did say that and he's since seen the light, either he was being nice to us just because he wanted to be nice to us. Some people say he's being nice to you because he wants good coverage. I didn't take it as that.
And we're not fools.
No, he was legitimately nice
People
off camera.
People don't pull the wool over our eyes very easily. And I think more to the point, William, one thing that you did say very early on, and which I think is really wise, is that every sinner has a past.
No, honey. Every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. People make mistakes. So if he did say these things, 10, 12 years ago, you don't write someone off for the rest of their life because they said something.
Have you said things you have not been proud of?
Yes.
Before?
I remember when I came out very young, 12 or 13. This is a long time ago. And there were people who were so mean to me. And I called them out and I said, why do you treat me like dirt when I have done nothing to you? And then they would act, once you called them out, they would think, and then I became really good friends with a lot of these people who were incredibly bigoted and homophobic before they had engaged with me. You just have to give people a chance. A lot of LGBT people struggle to accept themselves. It takes time. So why do you expect everyone else to accept you instantly? Sometimes you have to be patient. You have to be patient. I'm not saying roll over and let people throw stones at you, but when people make a mistake and say something, just, educate, demonstrate, and then accept.
I like that.
You just have to I'm not trash, I'm not a horrible person, and yes, I am gay. And then people get over it.
Bringing it back to Jacques Houdek,
Yes.
I love the sunflowers, I love the rainbow.
The rainbow to me, and I say this in the Billboard story, read like an apology to the LGBT community. Because the whole campaign, Be My Friend, Acceptance, in a year of Celebrate Diversity, it was almost like that song was a 3-minute apology to LGBT people.
Well, even if it wasn't, we've taken it as such.
And you know what? It makes it even better.
Absolutely.
And that's why that's made this list of LGBT moments. Because, conflict, disagreement, growth, acceptance, these are all issues under the banner.
And this is a sort of a living discussion. I'm sure in a year or so we'll do another video. I would have liked to seen Tattoo in this video. If we don't, we had to kind of narrow it down.
Well, yeah, because we don't really have footage of them at the 2007 rehearsals being told not to have an onstage lesbian kiss. Imagine that. But we have mentioned it. In any case, those are 5 of our favorite LGBT moments. What are yours? Is it about DQ from Denmark or Paul Lofton from
Dean
Iceland?
in the disco.
Yeah, or 2011, Ding Dong, Dana's Return. Interestingly, Ding Dong was clearly a play on Ding Dong, and it didn't make as much of a splash because Dana had burned the barriers to transgender performers in 98. Do you know what I mean? And it's so funny how she encapsulated acceptance of transgender people, and so when she came the second time, people didn't care about the whole Ding Dong reference she was making, because they just accepted her as a woman. As they should.
It was also a weaker song.
I actually really like it. I think that Diva was better placed for its time than Ding Dong was for its time, but I actually listened to Ding Dong and I quite like it. Ding dong,
say no more, say no more. I hear silent prayers and it's making me high and fly. I know where to go and I'm coming now.
Oh, wait a minute, we ain't done. And by the way, if love was a crime,
we would be criminals. That could have been in another video.
And so would millions of LGBT people.
This is love
around the world.
This is love.
But if you buy the If Love Were a Crime t-shirt, you can raise awareness about these people all over the world who would be criminalized, penalized for being who they are. On a lighter note, this is love.
This is love.
I love that t-shirt,
I
too.
love that t-shirt.
What about this one? Love, love, peace, peace. Oh!
Mirella!
Yes,
Bye, la, 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 la. Bye la la la.
Okay, we'll see you later.
Bye.